Hello guys, welcome back to another live Q&A session. Carnivore Team GB with myself, Jonathan, Coach Stephen and Phil. We're going to be answering all your questions today related to the carnivore diet, nutrition, exercise, health, fitness, anything you want really. Now just as a gentle reminder, in case you didn't get the memo, this is now a exclusive members only Q&A, so anyone is free to participate in it if they're a member. Also on Phil's for now if they're a subscriber, but besides that we're going to be just taking exclusive members questions because it turns out that most of our questions are usually asked by members anyway. But anyway, there is free information, so you can still access this stream to watch at your disposal whenever you want after the fact. So there we have it. Anyway, guys, if you've got any questions, leave them in the chat. Even better, leave a super chat, and any of our channels will be able to best assist you that way. And I'm just going to bring attention to this, which I think is absolutely brilliant. Good evening, Team GB. Good evening to you.
Hi, Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Nice one, guys. And hit a like if you haven't yet already. Anyway, guys, if you haven't got any questions, in a minute we're going to be, should we say, having a little chat, a little discussion between us to talk about any upcoming events we have. And Phil has one on his mind right now. What is that, Phil?
Oh, yes. Well, the Carnivore conference in Spain, just when I thought it was sold out. So we've had a couple of cancellations and we have some rooms available. So please check it out. You can find it at thebigfatchallenge.com. Click the event button at the top or contact me through my Substack below my name there and ask me, because at this late stage, we might even come up with some deals. And this is just an incredible conference. We did it in 2019. Nobody's forgotten it yet. It was absolutely magical. And this time it's going to be better. There's Anthony Chafee there. We've got Zofia Clemens from Paleomedicina. We've got Sarah Pugh. We've got other speakers and just hanging out with these people for a whole week. So imagine the questions you can get answered. Imagine the contacts you're going to make. You're going to make friends for life there. And it's going to be a most amazing event. So come along, hang out in Spain, get a bit of extra sun in October. That's the 21st until the 25th. And you can easily find it. Just message me, and I'm open to deals at this stage. I don't want to be stressing out. I want to get all of the other things I've got to pay for and get all the things sorted out at the venue. So I'm not really bothered about massive full prices. So here's your chance. Get in contact with me today or tomorrow, preferably. Have the most amazing experience there.
That sounds very exclusive. Wish I could have made that one. I'm actually very upset I can't, but never mind. What about you, Coach Stephen? What's on your agenda at the moment?
Well, I am trying to do more interviews about bloods and testing and labs and a bit more sciencey. I think I'm enjoying the success stories, but a lot of people ask me for a bit more. And the last two interviews I did, people wanted to know, well, how does that work? Why is that getting better? So you will still see the success stories. You will still see those, but also you will see probably deeper dives and a little bit more about mechanisms and sort of science behind stuff, and also branching out further into bloods because people really are enjoying it. So although it's no, I don't think it's controversial. It just goes against the narrative, but it's more joined up thinking and it helps people. So I've got a couple of interviews lined up tomorrow, which I think are going to be amazing, but I can't tell you about them because I want to make sure I'm allowed to talk about them. So yeah, it's all good at the moment.
That sounds good. Yeah, I've been making a couple of videos myself recently. I actually collaborated with Lee earlier, so that's Kent Carnivore. We did a reaction video to Eddie Hall and his 30-day in carnivore diet challenge. It was a tremendous success, and you guys can enjoy that in due course. Lee's going to do a great job of the editing on his part. He's made it look really snazzy already. Anyway, we're going to be... it's about 36 minutes long, and it's just a pure hilarious reaction. I make a lot of silly jokes in it and make an absolute cock of myself, so you guys might really enjoy that even more. Other than that, I've got 2 upcoming videos. So one is a carnivore diet food tier list. And as you can imagine, of course, it's going to be quite controversial, but within good reason. And the next one is about training methodology, notably, basically the difference between using a resistance machine versus a free weight, and what I think is the best option between those two. Kind of go into the science a little bit and just gives people quite a rudimentary yet detailed kind of explanation of which one's which and which one's better for different reasons. But that's all good. Anyway, yeah. Also, thanks so much for the €10 to begin with. Much appreciated. That's about 8 or 9 British squid. We get about 70% of that, so I've probably accumulated about £5 from that, which is absolutely excellent. That's like what is that, like a dozen eggs or something? I don't know. I pay a lot for eggs.
Well, you'd get a couple of braising steaks from Morrison's for that, actually.
That's true. Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I'm eating very tough steaks now though. This last week.
Yeah. I mean, the braising steak. If you cook it slightly slower, you'll get away with pretending it's a ribeye, I think.
Yeah, we'll try it. We'll test it. we're on the experiment. Something about your microphone. You're not using your pro microphone. I'm hearing reverb.
Yeah, I've moved it.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds much better.
I had it up there out the way because I was working on a video where I wasn't talking, basically, and I didn't put it back. Rookie mistake.
Yeah. Something about. Yeah, I'm looking forward to changing up my studio at some point soon. In the near future, so I'm gonna have my own area, so I can actually have my green screen behind me. There's a black cover over it, and there's a green screen, and it rolls up and down like a big banner thing. It's quite snazzy, just very heavy and cumbersome to move around. Anyway, the idea is I have that in front of whatever backdrop I have behind me, so I can put it down, pull it up. So if I want to do a standing video, an explanation video, I can do that. The other thing I want to do, which is a bit bizarre, I think not Dr. Berg, maybe someone else does it, but they have. It's in front of them. They're sat quite far back, or standing far back from the camera, and they've got a clear panel across them. But then they draw on a panel like to demonstrate, this is the nucleus, that sort of thing. So I want to do something like that. The next step up is Stan. That's the one.
Or Stenekberg, anyway, something like that.
That's it. What do you think of his video? I mean, he does a lot of like, what happens when you do this for 30 days and 200 eggs in 7. What do you think about those sort of videos?
Well, he does that to get people to the channel, because when he does stuff that isn't like that, where he just talks about, I don't know, EPA, DHA or something like that, or vitamin D, they're really good videos. I think he's got a nice way about him. He's not carnivore. I would guess, I would speculate, he probably is himself, possibly, but maybe not on the channel. I don't know. So yeah, it's good presentation. I think he obviously, if a former Olympic champion or Olympian champion, as he says, so he's got some good background, hasn't he? He's well known as a performance sort of guru. So I like them. I like his style, definitely. This screen in front of him and writing in front, I think, is quite engaging. Anything with animation that makes something complex seem really easy is right up my street. I mean, I'm toying with sort of live doodling on my iPad and linking that up to a video. So actually, as I talk, I'm drawing what I'm talking about, and I'm trying to look at that. Years and years ago, I was a big fan of a guy whose name escapes me, but it was all about memory. And he was on TV, but he had an overhead projector, and he would draw on this projector thing like you had at school and do his little presentation, and then just basically use a wheel and roll it onto the next bit and do a bit of drawing. Wow, I can't remember his name, but he wasn't actually about memory. That was a joke because I can't remember his name, but he was very good. The 7 hats of thinking was one of the things that I liked about it. It was very visual about these. You can wear 7 hats and you can look at different problems in different ways and just change your hat. I do remember that, and that's all down to the fact he animated it as he was talking.
Yeah, there's a channel which focuses on like cosmic stuff and astrology. It's a guy with a beard, black hair, and he does kind of what I do in some videos. So sometimes I'll green screen myself in something. Then if I want to demonstrate something on the screen, I'll still be on it. I'll just shrink myself by like 20% my size. And then I'll just put like a notepad on the screen or notes or something, or like a Canva design, some sort of translucent thing. I don't know. To kind of explain, these are the points I'm making. But just to make that little graphic where you move from there to there, then back down again, that will take me about 45 minutes, and it's for about maybe 10 seconds worth of video. And I'm like, oh my God. But it's amazing how these guys edit these videos, because even with all the tech and software in the world, AI can't absolutely perfect the things you want, whether it be video. How many times have I pressed auto adjust or AI video or photo on my phone? It's come out a picture of me in pink or something like that. It just doesn't seem to work out too well. But yeah, we got
what you need to do is to draw those really little childish drawings like Peter Rogers, the vegan doc. He's hilarious.
Oh, they're good.
He draws these things just like it was done by a 3-year-old. And he came out with one today. I think he's got me blocked, actually. But he came out with one today, and it's a little short on McDougall's recommendations about fiber and release of energy. It was hilarious. And he couldn't even get through a short without burping. And I thought, you just never know when that indigestible fiber is going to come out or which end it's going to come out. And I put a comment up to that effect, and I don't think it got on there. I think he calls me the Hulk Hogan of carnivore trolls. I thought, that was ridiculous. But his channel, I can recommend it. Peter Rogers, Dr. Peter Rogers. It's absolute comedy gold. And it's amazing, absolutely amazing. Bart K ripped him to bits at one point, which is what brought him to my attention. But yeah, his little childish drawings, that's what you want. You don't want tech. You want those little pin men and stuff like that, weird drawings of the digestive system.
Yeah, that's what I hope for one day. You'd be able to like insert a credit or something and be like, oh, make it so I'm talking as I am right now, but so I'm walking over a bridge or something to get to, I don't know, a field. That'd be quite cool. And if you like just press a button, it does it for you. So it like eliminates the need to actually do any kind of recording or moving or doing anything. That's the problem I have, like cooking. Like, oh, I want to video me doing this, but the camera doesn't really follow me around, so it's a bit annoying. Or it's the wrong zoom, or a cloud goes by and it changes the exposure of the camera and the lens. Yeah, that drives me nuts. That's probably my biggest obstacle is lighting. I've got all the lighting in the world, just the room is a bit annoying. But yeah, we had super chat from Rob. I watched a new interview today with Dr. Westman and Dominic D'Agostino, PhD, discussing taking exogenous ketones and MC benefits. Very good indeed. Yeah, I'm of the same mind as Richard with these. Like, there's different levels to it. So, if I want like a pre-workout boost, okay, I'll do a coffee. If I want a pre-workout boost plus a bit more, I'll add some butter. If I want a bit more, add in the MCT powder. If I want a bit more, then I'll add in the ketones. So, I think you get the biggest benefit from the more affordable things, but the extra little top-up bits you get, you end up paying more for it, obviously. So, but the exogenous ketones do seem to give me a performance benefit. Definitely a mental enhancement benefit. I feel a lot calmer, a lot more, I don't know, alert but calm. It's hard to explain, but I obviously used big doses of it, and you don't need a lot, guys. Honestly, like maybe 5 to 10 grams would do anyone and give anyone a benefit, I think. Right, you guys, have you used these too?
No, Rich gave me one of his potions just before I went up to speak at the Carnivore conference. And he made one, and I think he made it like triple strength because the spoon, the little stirrer thing, was pretty much standing up in it. And I thought, is he trying to do me in? It was like doing a line of Coke. I thought, what's going on here? It definitely had an effect. It really did. But yeah, it woke me up for the talk, and I managed to sort of stop the tremors before I went on there. But yeah, thanks, Rich.
Yeah, what about you, Stephen?
I can see why people use them. I did try MCT oils when I first started out on my keto journey. I've never done exogenous ketones. I've never felt the need because I think I'm not bothered about being in ketosis, and I'm certainly not bothered about biohacking into ketosis. So some people do that and then they feel good because they're doing the keto mojo, and it looks great. So I don't really rate it for that reason, personally. Mental clarity and cognitive benefits, many people do say that, and obviously I have clients I recommend exogenous ketones to because we're talking about mental health issues. But I'm like you, Jonathan. I try food first, nutrition first, and then if we're struggling with adaptation, actually, I would say, well, you could look at that if you feel like your mental clarity needs a bit of a boost. Athletic performance, I mean, you're the expert in that, so I won't get into that. I do think it reduces, the ketones can reduce cravings, definitely, and appetite, and that's more to do with the fact that you've got energy that you've put into your system, so your body is reading glucose and ketone levels all the time. So it's not a sort of false claim. It's an obvious thing that really happens. But the medium chain triglycerides, I think, oddly enough, I think it's good for topical application for massage oil. Just a completely left field thing for you. Left left hand.
That's what I get used on me. Yeah, I actually gave them a bottle and just said, just use that on me. Don't use anything else.
Yeah, because
that was
so
your advice from a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it is so clean. Yes, and the antimicrobial properties. I think that's pretty nailed on as well. So, but MCTs give you cognitive benefits, but it's not as rapid. That's the thing. You are digesting and absorbing. I think that's the biggest thing, isn't it? The exogenous ketones are very rapid. MCTs are still pretty quick, very easily digested and absorbed. So that's their place. And obviously, if we had Richard here, we'd be talking about C8. Oh, right, it's the most whatever pure and all that. Well, it's true. And I told Richard off for not actually talking about his supplements in a way where he's embarrassed.
Stephen, he's not.
Yeah,
he's not Pakistani.
No, he's not. But anyway,
I can't do a Welsh accent either, though. So
that's all right. I'm Welsh. I mean, that's my background. I should be able to do it a bit better than that. But it's
I've been living up here near Liverpool since 1986, and I can't do a Scouse accent. So no worries.
I can't do an accent. I can't mirror that way. I don't know why. I've never been good at deliberately acting. If that makes sense. Like, oh, can you? One of the tests I had when I was diagnosed with autism was about 22, 20, something like that. I had to sort of demonstrate some play with some different toys in a box or something. I didn't know what to do. Like, I freeze when I've got to do those sort of things where pretend to be a chicken. I'm like, what? I can't do it. There's like some sort of block. I'm rubbish. So yeah, I always find it interesting people can actually act. I know, Stephen, you did some acting, stuntman sort of stuff, which is pretty cool. What do you think about BHB supplements? That's what we're talking about, Sheena. So I think for you, with your budget, for your athletic endeavours, probably not worth it, to be honest. I'd spend your money on better food or more food. That'd be my highest priority. That little bit of money there, you might be better served by spending on good quality sea salt, something like that. If you're just using salt sachets from McDonald's, I'm not saying you are, but if you were, hypothetically, sodium chloride and a bit of maltodextrin is not ideal. Spend your money on things which are big levers that you use every day, that are affordable. Obviously don't cost the bank, that let you sort of achieve something without putting too much thought into it. It's like good quality water, good quality salt. All the other ones, guys, like, what investments should people make?
Just more meat and fat, really. I reckon it's that simple, isn't it? It'll sort itself out.
Yeah. I mean, we have covered that, haven't we? These all have a place. I mean, even Andrew Scarborough saying in the comments, the this is a disadvantage, that's this disadvantage, but with that being said, I'm going to use them. So that's the thing. They are effective and rapid, and you can look at different nuances like the esters that he's mentioning, but in the end, if you can get it from nutrition, that's going to be the best thing. And even Richard says that he makes and sells supplements, from his factory in Pakistan or wherever Phil said. It's like everybody says it. The good manufacturers supplements all say try food first, get to food, and if the food can't do it, then you give yourself a little bit of a bridge, for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, however long it takes. But if you feel really good on them, fill your boots, do it, because they're not damaging in any way. But I do feel food is the best way to go.
Yeah, Sheena, get in contact with me soon if you want advice of what you say. You got like, oh, Jonathan, my budget's $30. Like, okay, well, this is probably the best you're gonna get for $30 with you in your current state as you are, health status, all that sort of stuff, body fat, muscle mass. I'll give you a good sort of a solid example of what you might be best served doing. There we go. We actually met this gentleman at the Carnivore conference. Paul.
Once a week man, yes.
Oh yeah, once a week man. Very interesting. So what do you think? What do we think about synthetic and natural materials in clothing? Which are the best? Does it matter?
Yes.
Well, I saw Phil wearing leathers. Very good. Very good. I wish they did them in my size though, because they don't. So it's really annoying. But what do you guys know about clothing? Obviously, like cotton and things like that can be better. Is there like a hierarchy of clothing materials?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me about it, because I'm ill informed. I don't know much.
Right. Well, I'll tell you a little anecdote. Many years ago, there was a program where Jack D, the UK comedian, was taken out of his comfort zone and put into a very cold environment. And he had all his man-made Gore-Tex and this, that, and the other. And he was in the snow, and then he was hunting and all this sort of stuff. And he didn't want to wear all the animal clothing. He didn't want to wear any of the natural clothing. He had all this man-made stuff. That actually wasn't even a part of the show. But within about 3 days, he'd given up on all the high-tech stuff and said, nothing's beating this. I can move more. It's more breathable. So then let's go back to the question. That's exactly the difference. All of our stuff, our bedding and everything is all natural fibers. It's all more breathable. It moves better. It feels better. There's less skin irritation. You're unlikely to be allergic to it, actually. Some people can be, but that's because they're eating the wrong things. Those fibers tend to be natural, and most things are most of the man-made things are copies or trying to duplicate the brilliance of something natural. So if you take like a duvet, there you go, a little bit of French, your actual French for you there, Phil. A duck feathered duvet is beautiful. It's great. It's very, very insulating. It just lies on you fantastically. If you get one of those sort of plasticky mixes, they'll keep you warm, but it's just not the same. It's not as luxurious feeling. Then you also get the moisture, the breathability and the moisture. They call it moisture or wicking, but basically it goes away. We had this with the builder recently, because everybody knows, I think, that my roof collapsed and we had a flood in the house and all that, and we were worried about some bricks, and we got into this thing about moisture. Well, this house is 150 years old. Those bricks are still breathing, which is good. All of the things that are good about natural fibers, durability, and it's a sustainability as well. They last longer. I've got clothes that are natural that have lasted because I eat this way. I don't get super fat, super thin, super fat and all that. They've lasted me 10, 15 years, and they're great. So I think it is a good question, actually, because we're talking about, red light, blue light, grounding and everything. Then what's the point of putting on a shirt that's made of plastic? Now, yesterday, Jane said, smarten your act up, get a black shirt, look like Huberman. And she tried to get me a black shirt from Next. And it was just, I put it on, I can't wear this. This is horrible. It's like plastic. So when you've worn something that isn't plastic, you really notice it straight away. I was very uncomfortable. I think it's a much better question than maybe you first think, because it does go quite deep.
Well, everything goes in through our skin as well as goes in through our digestive tract. And so these are often full of all sorts of horrible chemicals, especially when they're new. And I think one of the worst things is the sort of women's underwear of man-made fibers, because there's a particularly delicate, absorbent.
I don't like them on either.
Yeah, and it's just you don't want to be wearing that. Yeah, it's no good. Ribeye Rob says my duvet is 80% Hungarian goose down. Nice. Yeah, it actually reminds me of one of my favorite band names ever, which was the Well Hungarians.
Did they release a 12-inch?
Sorry. Nice one. Yes, I expect they did.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, we do have a question, so I want to make sure Kevin gets his money's worth. So thank you for joining, Kevin. Any advice on helping histamine intolerance besides getting unaged meat, not eating leftovers? It'll be convenient with my work schedule to meal prep in advance. Leftovers bother my stomach. I find this as well. I'm sure most people think this. So when you cook a roast turkey at Christmas, whatever, you get like the meal after, or like the meals after, usually like the rest of the roast turkey sliced up cold meats. I find I can eat them. I can eat quite a bit of them, but my stomach is like churning afterwards. It's sore. I don't know if it's a histamine or what. I mean, I don't know how long it takes to accumulate histamine levels to a high degree after cooking it, as in it's been processed and cooked, whatever. So that's something I do need to research myself, because I should really know this. But yeah, what do you think about the histamine intolerance? So they've mentioned obviously like not eating aged meat, not eating leftover food. I mean, could cooking be a good sort of way to sort of sort that out? So not overcooking food, slow cooking food, things like that. What's the other one? Bear with you guys, my brain's dead. I'm the leanest I've ever been right now. I can't even think. We're talking about food, cooking. Yeah. So maybe Kevin steaks, maybe he cooks them just slightly seared on the outside, but then he eats them during the day. So maybe there's a bit more taurine in it in that case, maybe, which might help digestion, which will help clear histamine. It might be that less accumulates from the cooking process. That'd be my first spot. Just searing the meat on the outside, assuming it's like beef or something. But what would you guys do? What are we missing here? I'm sure there's a lot more to talk about.
Well, there is a lot more, and obviously I'm always talking about aged meats because I like the taste of aged meats and I like the texture. But obviously, if you have a histamine problem, then you are going to find that difficult, because there's more histamines. Any living organism that dies produces histamines. Plants produce histamines, animals. So anything that's been dead for a long time or longer time will start to produce more. So that's one of the things. Always eat fresh. If you're buying fresh meat, say from the butcher, and then you take it home, just leave it in the fridge and you don't eat it for 4 days, you would have been better to put it in the freezer and then thaw it out, just to reduce the levels of histamine. You can also look at what your body is doing. So there's a thing called diamine oxidase, or DAO, which many people buy as a supplement, and that is an enzyme that is involved in the clear up of histamines after it's been released. Histamines aren't the enemy, it's the level or the clear up operation isn't working right. So it's either too much for your body, there's too many histamines, or the histamine's been released and your body can't clear it up, and DAO is the enzyme that does the clear up. So you could introduce kidney into your diet, because that has concentrated DAO. So that's the food option. Or you could look at a supplement, again, as a bridge to help you clear up the histamines afterwards. Obviously, things like cheeses, because cheese is made with an aged process, that's something to avoid as well. So I think you can manage it, definitely. So I would look at sort of pre-ingestion. So what is the food you're buying, as fresh as possible, not aged. Then you've got storage. So if you're not going to eat it straight away when you get home, freeze it rather than leave it in the fridge. And then what happens once you've ingested it and you've started to digest, you could possibly be including kidney to increase the level of DAO, or you could look at a supplement.
No, brilliant. I think Stephen's covered everything there. I would say, though, that I think I see this in time always dying down with carnivore. Things seem to sort themselves out. But in the short term, mostly I get people who are seriously autoimmune, and I just go, yeah, you know, so what? You know, eat what you like and focus on gut healing. But that's side of it tends to calm down. I noticed that all my histamine issues have completely disappeared over the years, and I can eat, you know, if a neighbor's been dead in their house a month or so, I can eat them and stuff. That's just for the vegans. That's just for the vegans, because we're all cannibals, right? No, I'm messing, but I don't mind aged steaks, stuff like that. Yeah.
If you can't stand kidney, as My Food Addiction is saying in the comments, you can chop it up very finely and add it to ground beef. You can hide it in foods and make it a bit more palatable. So I think that's one of the things Richard does, actually. He takes his ground beef and puts some of the organ meats in, because he doesn't like organ meats, but he realizes that they have some things that confer benefits. So that's why he does that.
Yeah, I've had a ground mix recently, which was organ meats. We had 20% in it. I think it's not organ meats that I don't like. It's just one that I really hate, and that is, funny enough, kidney. I absolutely hate it. I can't stand it. I had it once. I cooked a load of it, and I was like, it really made me feel sick. Like, really, like, I'm never going near it again. Like, you know, when you've had something in your life, you're like avoid. But then I'll have heart, I'll have liver, they've had testicles at the market before, but I've not picked them up yet. They're bloody huge, like giant goose eggs.
Yeah. Jonathan stole my liver at the Carnivore conference.
Oh yeah,
and then found out that 3/4 of his plate was liver anyway.
Yeah, we had these. It looked like bavette steaks, or maybe something like that. Yeah, it looked like bavette steaks. I thought, oh, they're quite nice, because there's other cuts of meat which were somewhat similar sort of size. Some was obviously like brined meat, and some was obviously like roast topside beef or something. But yeah, I picked up this like square-looking rectangle thing, and I was like, oh, it just looks quite cut. Like the way it's cut is quite sharp. You know, like meat is usually a bit ragged and stuff, but yeah, it's cut very sharp. And I picked up 2 pieces and I ate them. I was like, oh my god. I actually quite enjoyed it. I liked it more. I disliked it, which is interesting. But then the day after, I think I had the same. I also had ox heart or something. Was it lamb liver? I can't remember. Then the day after that, I was going to have some. I was like, no, I don't really want any more. So it just goes to show. But I've not had a taste for it since. It's been about a week or so, maybe 2 weeks now. So yeah, I don't mind it. It's quite nice. Do you have any more questions? Has Keir Starmer gone carnivore? Today he demanded the return of sausages. Well, he has into Scotch eggs, wasn't he, at one point?
The problem here is I think it goes down, because Andrew here says testicles are delicious, and I think that ties in with the Keir Starmer thing here, because I don't know. I mean, Keir Starmer was probably one of these public school boys, wasn't he? And I think that might not be the sausage that he's talking about. So I doubt if he's gone carnivore. He's probably just harking back to his school days, because I went to public school, but I didn't get involved in that. I spent most nights carp fishing and then got out early. So I know what you're talking about there, Keir. You shirt lifter.
Yeah, I'm curious as to who out there is actually following a carnivore diet, or has tried it and got some benefit, but not sort of said anything. You know, some lock away, you know, old-fashioned rock star or something, sit in his basement getting all these health benefits and keep it to himself.
Well, you know about Owsley Stanley, don't you? Who used to make the LSD for the
guy that was a bit loopy, and everyone thinks he's a dog's bollocks.
Yeah, for the Grateful Dead. Yeah, he was. Well, he was. You know, he made basically meat and LSD. So you know, he's not going to be entirely on the level. But yeah, I think there's people out there. There's people out there who do it kind of wrong. I mean, I was playing with the Daz band at a festival last year, and I went around the back of the marquee to congratulate a drummer that was playing in another band that I thought played brilliantly, that I was supposed to be playing in, but I couldn't have time to do it. And I knew that in between that band and the other band was was David Icke. And so David Icke was speaking in between. And I went in the back of the marquee to talk to this drummer. And this big dude fell over and I kind of caught him, you know, he sort of stumbled a bit and he was like, oh, look, it's David Icke. And I was chatting to him about his arthritis and whatever. And I said, yeah, I'll help you out with that, man. And then we talked to his sons and his sons admitted to me, well, Jamie admitted to me that it was his idea of the carnivore diet was he'd had kind of discovered it, and his idea of the carnivore diet was to pull the middle out of pork pies. I thought, no, you got a bit of a way to go there, mate. So you never know when somebody says they're on a carnivore diet whether they actually are, do you? Really? You know, they might be eating just anything, you know, just old sort of hot dogs full of God knows what.
Yeah, I've met people who follow a carnivore diet that includes fruit and honey. But the way they sort of promote it isn't like, oh, I eat mostly meat. And it's like, oh, I eat a carnivore diet. It's like, all right, what's your breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And there's some sort of fruit or honey on every meal, and like a substantial amount of it. I'm like, is it really a carnivore diet, or is it just a better diet than what most people follow? I don't know. Weird. I can smell lard cooking in my house. I'm hungry.
Well, at least
I might wrap this up in a minute.
At least it's not kidneys. My missus sometimes has them, and it just smells. The whole house smells like piss. I can't take them either. Terrible things.
It was a gaff at the conference. He said sausages instead of hostages. What was that about?
Don't know. Can't get that one. Sorry, who's Chris Pratt?
Chris Pratt, actor.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, and Keir Starmer is a Pratt. That's the link there. There was something earlier on about Keir Starmer. Today he demanded the return of sausages. So it sounds like he was meant to say hostages and he said sausages.
Oh my God. Oh, I see.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the news or anything. Oh, politics. Yeah, I live in a little bubble, guys. It's a bit easier for me. More tolerable. I'm completely ignorant to stuff, this sort of thing, but people love to tell you what is and isn't happening. I'm like, oh, until it happens to me, I'm not too concerned with someone I care about. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there, guys. No more questions today. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. You can find us all at our respective YouTube channels. Mine is Carnivore Muscle. We've got Coach Steve in the middle, which is Coach Stephen Thomas. Is that your YouTube channel name?
Yeah, I think so.
Loosely. Phil Escott is just Phil Escott, and you can find us on the websites. Mine's competitionconsultant.com. We've got we got Stephen at the ukcarnivore.com. We got Phil Escott at I can't even read that. philescott.substack.com.
philescott.com, and I'm sorry, I just got to jump in again because I'm desperate to get this sorted. If anybody who's here now who wasn't there at the beginning, we have a couple of rooms left at the Spanish Carnival Conference next month, October 21st to 25th. And we've got Anthony Chafee, we've got Zofia Clements, we've got Sarah Pugh, we've got amazing speakers, beautiful place in Spain. Contact me for deals on these last couple of rooms, please. Come and fill up these rooms. It's heaven, this place. Come and chill out in Spain next month.
All right, thanks very much for joining, guys. Cheers.
Introducing Beef Up Carnivore Bodybuilding Bible. The ultimate guide for men and women to lose fat and build muscle. And the best part, it's only $12. Don't miss out on the most detailed resource available. Get a copy now at competitionconsultant.com.